Hello, creatives, and incredible morning. How are you guys doing today? Hopefully, you guys have gone ahead and give this video a thumbs up, hit that like button, hit the share button, shared it out, tagged a friend in this one. So, we're going to look at a file and see if you guys can determine if they're the same file. This will help you guys understand your files a little bit better, especially for our laser engravers. If you're someone that has any type of laser cutting machine, when it comes to how you have to have it set up to know where to cut it and engrave and all that, it is important to understand how your files are set up. This is also important for vinyl cutting as well, and layering, but more so for engravers because you'll see when it comes to vinyl how that's going to come out. All right. So if you guys have not done so already, make sure that you go ahead and share this video out. Give this video a thumbs up or hit the love reaction over on Facebook. Tag a friend if need be. All right. So let's get into this. So on my screen here, I have basically the same, right? So I want you guys to answer for me right now. Looking at these, do they look the same? Would you think they were the same images? Or the same file? Are these the same files, same setup, looking at them as they stand there on the screen? Okay, so we have a yes, And while you guys are answering, I'm going to go ahead and say good morning to a few folk while you guys are answering that. So good morning, April, Tasha, Michelle, Danielle, it was Gray, Samantha. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, best friend. Hello, how are you, Is it better than diamonds? Oh, okay. Miss Bradford, how are you doing? Thank you for the question. Miss Witt, how are you? Hello, hello, incredible morning, incredible morning. Hello. You saved the whole day. Glad to be able to help. Incredible day, Chanel. How are you? All right, so hello, Jamila. Incredible Monday. I mean, sorry, no, not Monday, Tuesday. All right, so it's yes, yes, yes. So you're saying it's not the same file, right? So other than my tone, what on here would make you think that these are not set up the same way, other than me asking the question? So yes, yes. You would have to click on them to know for sure. You sound like someone who has been enrolled in Essentials to Silhouette Studio to know that looks can be deceiving, that you really have to understand the way the system works, and you have to click on things and really look at them to know, or you can simply like move them off the screen. This is one of the reasons why I typically tend to design off of the design page. And I have mine set up with a gray background so that I will know if things are different. Okay. So we're going to take these two and move them over here. All right. I'm going to go ahead, just make it a little, change the color a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. Okay. We can't see that one either. Okay. There we go. So now with the way that, now that we see this on a contrasting, like on a different background, we can see that these are not the same. So if I take it, I move it back because this is open. The white from the design page makes these look like they are the same, but they are not. One looks darker than the other. Girl, they had the same color. You were being extra. I love you though, but they were filled with the same color. All right, so we're going to pull this over here, right? And we can see that the top one, although I can click on I'm going to click the same area. I'm clicking the edges of them. I'm going to just change it out. So as I change the color, and for anyone, if you're watching me and Chanel, that's one of my people. So I'm just messing with her. Don't get offended. Okay. But if we look at them, as I changed it, this part here did not change. Yet this part here, this is white. Here it changed around it, but this is open. So for those who do laser engraving, right? This would basically, like if you have like it's going to cut or engrave, it will cut all of this out. So there's a way for you to set it up to where if you're going to cut like straight from the material, you can have the outside and this hole do a full like cut all the way through. But then if you just want it to be engraved on top, you have to tell them the laser where to go ahead and engrave at. For vinyl cutting, these would operate the exact same way. So we're going to click on send and I'm going to have it set to cut, and they look exactly the same when you go to cut it out. So if I was cutting this from vinyl, if I was cutting this from heat transfer vinyl, I mean, even technically on cardstock, anything like that, once I go and I fully cut it out, it's going to cut the outside, it's going to cut the inside. One of the ways to tell if you can actually make this a file where you can cut and engrave at the same time. So this is going to be for any file that you have, because sometimes if it opens up on your design screen, you don't, even if it says it's an SVG, did they make it where it was one big compound path? Did they make it to where it was layered? So if you were using Silhouette Studio, I'm not sure how like the laser engraving softwares work, but if you're using Silhouette Studio to kind of set things up, and modify things, once you go to send, send tells you a lot. Even if you're not sending it to a silhouette machine, going to send tells you a lot. So right now with them both set to cut, everything is going to cut. So they look exactly the same still. If we go to cut edge, here is where things differ. The top one will show just a cut line around the circle and the inner part, and that's the part that would cut out. Whereas the bottom one, it shows the same areas, it's just darker. That lets you know that this is a file that is a compound path. It is a compound path. This is something that a lot of people struggle with. We spent a whole day and some change, because there are other times when you're going to need to know about compound paths for other functions. And look, see, when I did that, the whole thing changed. Got to go back out. So we spent a whole day on compound paths. It's a lot to understand. And then it comes up in subtracting. It comes up when we do text. It comes up when we do not welding. It comes up for, actually, I think it comes up in like the welding one too. But it always comes up like in a lot of different lessons. So if you have not enrolled in Essentials, even if it's just to understand compound paths, if that's something that you have been struggling with, head over to the website shop.hsync365.com and enroll in Essentials to Silhouette Studio. Learn Silhouette Studio in 30 days. She says, yes, I always use that send when I am designing. You are definitely a student over in the 30-day training. All right. So what this basically tells you is this is a compound path. When it's a compound path, everything is just one. So when she said you have to click on it. So if we double click, we're going to get edit points throughout the whole thing. But when we go up here, we're going to get the edit points. If we just click in the same area, you're going to get the edit points around the edge. Even if this is grouped together, if you double click, you're not going to get edit points at all. That lets you know. So even if we had them on screen like this, they look the same. We double click, we're going to get edit points. We double click, we're just going to continue to get the box. That lets you know that this is not one big compound path, that it is actually grouped together. So this can be saved as an SVG. And if someone was specifically making designs for laser engravers, they may create this SVG, but they're going to send it to you. And well, it would be the smart thing, or it would be the most convenient way to send it, where they would send it like this one. And what I mean by like this one is if we if I ungroup this, I can pull this out. This is going to be the best way, unless you wanted it where it's going to cut all the way through. So I guess I can't say whether it's the best, because it really depends on how you want it. Well, no, because then the rest of this won't be connected. So yeah, it's better for you to, like, for a file like this, to send them separately. So with the way that it, okay, so with the way that it's set up, and I was actually about to get into this, right? So she says, laser engraving, it changes the colors on color for cut and others for engraving. Lightburn works just like any of the leading design programs. This is true, but you have to have it separated so that you can assign them different colors. Because with this, whenever you change the color, everything's going to be that color. So there is no separation of them. Now here, you can go and you can change the color, and however you have your design program set up, you can say that this color is going to engrave, this color is going to cut out, but you have to have them separated. It is important to know that they have to be separated. And this can be an SVG. It'll just be grouped together. If your file comes in like this, I'm going to put my line color on it. And we're going to just make this a darker color so you guys can see. What you have to do is basically separate them. So what you're going to do is you're going to right click and you're going to release compound path. It is going to flood everything with color. This is what we want it to do. Okay. Couple different ways this can be done. I'm just going to show one way on here. It's more than one way to skin a cat. I'm going to hold down shift, click and click And all I have now is the image in the middle. I'm going to make that a compound path. So now the way that the engraving machines, anywhere there's color is where it's going to engrave. On the other one, there was no color. There was a void of color. There is color here, but only because of the background. So now we're going to drag and select the outside and the circle, and we're going to make that a compound path so that it actually has that hole to cut out. If I move this, there is a void of color. So this is what we want. You want to still see the earring base, like what's going to cut through all of these parts, but you want to have the image where you can change the color and the parts that you want to engrave are solid. So this is why it is so important to learn compound paths and how to make files do what you need them to do. Because if a file comes in like this versus coming in like this, so on screen, they may look like this. What is it that you need to do? Now, let's say it looks like this, but you need it to cut. I mean, you can either still set both to cut, or you simply make the entire, you do is just make the entire thing a compound path. It's going to cut that out. And then you can cut this and it will separate those pieces. If it was a certain design where you wanted it to cut everything out, you wanted to create a hole in the middle. But if you want it to be where you can cut and then engrave, you're going to release compound path and then make each part its own compound path. Okay? So hopefully this helps you guys understand your files just a little bit better when working in Silhouette Studio. If you would like to fully understand Silhouette Studio and make it work for you, whether you are using it for printing, for chip bags, for labels, for stickers, for print and cuts, for laser cutting, for rhinestones, whatever it is, it starts with understanding the tools and functions of the program first. All you have to do is head over to our website, shop.hsinc365.com. The direct link to the training is in the description of this video, or you can click on the one that I'm putting in the comment section. And that's going to take you to the page to purchase Essentials to Silhouette Studio. Learn Silhouette Studio in 30 days. Although for SEO purposes, it's Silhouette Studio for beginners. But I have had several students who have been using Silhouette Studio just on the surface. Like they've never really gotten to a lot of these tools, saw some of these tools in action for the first time, and they had been using the program in excess of a decade, and they still hadn't touched most of these tools. They just kind of come in and just do what they're used to doing, and it was a lot of information even for them. So for SEO purposes, it does say for beginners. However, if you feel like you are not using Silhouette Studio to its fullest potential, everything that you see me design, like most times it's done. If you saw that shirt that I did, it was a little bit of help from the website Word Art. But as far as like setting it up and doing all that stuff and sizing it and putting the distress on it, all of that was done in Silhouette Studio. So you can do a lot with the program. Don't hesitate. Start learning today. The longer you wait, the longer it is going to take you to perfect the program. And when you are a creative entrepreneur or you are a diehard hobbyist and crafter, you still want to do things more efficiently and quicker. The quicker you finish one project, you can move on to the next. That all starts here. Our new classes will drop October 1st. They are design classes. They're going to be classes to help you understand things like this. Okay, I kind of know the program. I know what the tools do, but I need to understand, how do I have to set this file up to make it do X, Y, and Z? That is what our courses will be focused on for the upcoming year. Essentials to Silhouette Studio will always be your source to learn the program from the bottom up. Okay, so don't hesitate. Head over to the website. It's only $83.65. $83.65. Small investment to help all of your creative endeavors. All right. So shop.hsinc365.com. You can scroll down or click the link and it's going to take you right to the landing page for it. And you can add that to your cart. We do accept Sezzle. You can do PayPal. We have Shop Pay and then PayPal. I think PayPal has buy now, pay later as well. All right. So, all right, guys. If have you emailed me? If you haven't, the professor at hsinc365.com. And that is how we set that up. All right. All right, y'all. Until next time, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity and be incredible. Peace.